Hi, I'm Laura Nelkin. I'm a knitwear designer. I live in upstate New York in the Finger Lakes region, and I want to show you how easy it is to work an attached I-cord edging on your knitting. I love working attached I-cord edgings, and I use them all the time, particularly on garments and shawls. Sometimes you might have heard of an attached I-cord edging called an I-cord bind-off. It's pretty much the exact same thing. So in this super quick video, I'm going to show you two ways to work an attached I-cord. One, I'm going to start with a fixed cast on, and the second, I'm going to start with a provisional cast on in case you need live stitches to work with later. So let's jump right in and I'll show you what an attached I-cord edging looks like, and then we'll do it together on my needles. So if you look down right here on my knitting, you can see where I am working an attached I-cord edging. If you've never worked I-cord before, you're always working on the right side of your work. And what it does is roll your stitches around the edge. So you're working the edging this way, and you can see that it makes this lovely, nice, tidy edging. The neckline of the sweater that I'm wearing, Bling Tee, has the exact same I-cord edging on it, and I use it on necklines of sweaters often. So first, let's jump in with that fixed cast on, and I'll show you how to work it. All right, I have a little swatch on my needles, and I'm going to get going and show you how I work the attached I-cord. The first thing that I'm going to do is take my needle and put it in between the first two stitches on my left-hand needle, wrap the yarn around, and pull it through. And what that is doing is casting on one stitch with a cable cast on. I'm going to take that stitch and put that onto my left-hand needle. And then I'm gonna take my right-hand needle, go in between those two stitches, wrap the yarn around, pull it through, and put it onto the needle. And I'm gonna do that 2 more times so that I'm casting on a total of 4 stitches onto the left-hand needle. If you cast on a total of 3 stitches, you'd be doing a 2-stitch I-cord. If you cast on a total of 4 stitches, you're doing a 3-stitch I-cord. So after I get those 4 stitches on the needle, I'm ready to start working. And what I am going to do is knit 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to slip 1 knitwise, and then I'm going to knit 1, and I'm going to pass that slip stitch over. And now I've got 4 stitches on my right hand needle, and I'm going to take those 4 stitches and put them back onto my left hand needle without twisting them. And now I am going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to slip that first stitch knitwise, knit 1, pass that slip stitch over. And now I'm going to take those 4 stitches, put them back onto my left hand needle, and continue on like that, where I am knitting 3, and then slipping 1 knitwise, and then knitting 1 and passing that slip stitch over. And you can see that I'm just starting on that I-cord edge, binding off the stitches on the left-hand needle as I work those 4 stitches. So that is what's happening over here on this bigger swatch. I think you can kind of see it if I lay it out. I did the exact same thing over here where I'm knitting 3, slipping 1 knitwise, knitting 1, and then passing the slip stitch over. Isn't that a tidy little edge? So you can see the way that I started that first version, I've got a closed edge over here. If you are wanting to have live stitches right here to work with later, like let's say you're doing the neckline of a sweater and you want to be able to graft the beginning and the end of your I-cord together, then you need to start with a provisional cast on. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, to do this provisional cast on, I am using a piece of Stitch Saver, which is a 2mm hollow rubber tubing. You can use a piece of rubber hollow tubing. You can use an extra circular needle. You can use an extra cable from an interchangeable needle set. You can also use some scrap yarn and do a crochet cast on, but I think that this is the easiest way to do this. And what I'm doing right now is I have my working project in my right hand, not my left hand. And then I've got my working yarn coming off the last stitch that I worked. And I've got my Stitch Saver held underneath my yarn. And what I'm going to do is bring my yarn over my needle, and then I'm gonna reach under the Stitch Saver and grab the yarn and pull it up. And now I have 2 stitches on my needle and 2 stitches on the Stitch Saver. And then I'm gonna bring the yarn over the needle again, reach down and grab the yarn. And now I have 4 stitches on my needle and 4 stitches on my Stitch Saver. And I'm going to turn my work so that the right side is facing. And now I'm going to continue on working an attached I-cord just like we did before, but there's one little thing you're going to do in this first round. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to knit 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to slip this next stitch knitwise, and I'm going to knit 1, and I'm going to pass that slip stitch over, and then I'm going to take those 4 stitches and slide them back. And the reason I wanted to show that to you is because that slip stitch might feel a little bit loose, so just pull things up tightly as you work it, and it will be nice and tidy. And now you're just going to continue on like this, where you knit 3, and then slip 1 knitwise, and then knit 1, and pass slip stitch over. And now when you are done working across all your work, you can see that you have these 4 stitches right here that are live that you'll be able to graft to the end of your I-cord when you've worked all the way around the neckline. Sometimes I'll use this if I'm working a modular shawl and I work like a rectangular piece and I bind it off with an I-cord, with an attached I-cord bind off, and then I want to have live stitches to pick up stitches along the end of that rectangle. So I've used it in all different kind of ways, and I have such a blast playing with attached I-cord and obviously with Stitch Savers, which I've been really into lately, and the things that they can do for our knitting. So if you want to, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel to learn other knitting tips from me. You can also sign up for my newsletter, like this video, leave a comment if you have any questions. I am happy to chat with you about knitting anytime. Have a great day.